Welcome to Daily Bible Benefits. Today is Thursday, January 18th. On this day in 1919, in Paris, France, some of the most powerful people in the world meet to begin the long, complicated negotiations that would officially mark the end of the First World War. Today on the podcast, I'll be talking about the storm at sea, Acts chapter 27, verses 13 through 38. And when the south wind blew softly, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, loosened thence they sailed close by Crete. But not long after there arose, against a tempestuous wind called the Euroclydon, and when the ship was caught, and could not bear up into the wind, we let her drive. And running under a certain island, which is called Clauda, we had much work to come by the boat, which when they had taken up, they used helps, undergirding the ship, and fearing lest they should fall into the quicksands, strake sail, and so were driven. And we being exceedingly tossed with a tempest, the next day they lightened the ship. And the third day we cast out with our own hands the tackling of the ship. And when neither sun nor stars in many days appeared, and no small tempest laid on us, and all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. But after long absence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them, and said, Sirs, ye should have hearkened unto me, and have not loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am, and whom I serve, saying, Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar. And lo, God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe God, that it shall be even as it was told me. Howbeit we must be cast upon a certain island. But when the 14th night was come, as we were driven up and down in Adria, about midnight the shipmen deemed that they drew near to some country, and sounded and found it 20 fathoms. And when they had gone a little further, they sounded again and found it 15 fathoms. Then fearing lest we should have fallen upon rocks, they cast forth anchors out of the stern, and wished for the day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, when they had let down the boat into the sea, under color as though they would have cast anchors out of the foreship, Paul said to the centurion and to the soldiers, Except these abide in the ship, he cannot be saved. Then the soldiers cut off the ropes of the boat and let her fall off. And while the day was coming on, Paul besought them all to take meat, saying, This day is the 14th day that ye have tarried and continued fasting, having taken nothing. Wherefore I pray you to take some meat, for this is for your health. For there shall not an hair fall from the head of any of you. And when he had thus spoken, he took bread and gave thanks to God in the presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. Then were they all of good cheer, and they also took some meat. And we were in all the ship 216 souls. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship, and cast out the wheat into the sea. God's gift of laughter. It is said that Theodore Cuyler and Mr. Spurgeon were once out in the field enjoying God's sunshine and the beauties of nature. Dr. Cuyler told a story at which Mr. Moody laughed until his sides shook. Suddenly Mr. Moody said, Theodore, let's get down on our knees and thank God for laughter. And these two happy Christian preachers knelt in the field and thanked God for his great gift of laughter. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Bible Benefits. Have a good and godly day.